Okay, we're gonna do this again now. I'm in the house. All right, give people a few minutes to get in here. Hey, why me? All right. You're back. Yes, I am. Yay. You know, it's weird. It doesn't even show you all online. It shows, I don't know, it's weird. Okay, so I don't know how much y'all caught before. Oh, this is Sven. Isn't he great? Anyways, that's my Sven. Sorry, I'm so easily distracted. Okay, well, I'm just going to get this rolling, and I'm just looking at some of your comments right here. So hopefully, hopefully this won't pause up on me. So, anyways, so like I was saying before, with whatever you guys heard, guys, those outcasts. Um, your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. Really? Doing this again? Okay. Well, hopefully reconnected for y'all. So, anyways, the fandom's just not the same anymore. Um, you know, we all came from different backgrounds. You know, we were the outcast, right? You know, or maybe we weren't outcasts. Maybe we were some of the cool kids, but we all just had that one different interest, furry, and this is where we could all meet and come together. You know, and it didn't matter what backgrounds that we had. It didn't matter, you know, what your political leanings were, your religion. We all had at least shared that one common interest, and that's furry. You know, we didn't ostracize and demonize one another. I mean, we could get into some heated arguments, but you know, we would split our ways, kind of try to kind of, you know, be cool, and you know, we could all meet back together, um, and enjoy that one thing that we loved, which was free. I'm just checking to make sure this connection's still good. Uh, anyways, seems good so far. Over the weekend, I mean, I mean, guys, most of you guys know my story. Um, you know, this year I was permanently banned from Texas Furry Fiesta and Texas Furry Siesta for my social media content. Of course, others will say because I was transphobic, I was racist. Guys, yeah, I said a tweet 6 years ago that was pretty poorly worded on my part and certainly wasn't intended to sound like it did, but I own that. But that was never an issue back then until recently this year when it was found and used against me. I made a Vine six years ago around that time, which was laughable then. It got so many freaking likes and comments on it, but today it's viewed differently. I haven't been on Vine for years, obviously, because Vine is shut down. It's gone. Um, but anyways, so you know, and I was banned for that. That's neither here nor there. It's a done deal. I can't change it. That's fine. I can go do other things. I've been doing other things this year actually. Went to Disney for the first time. But anyways, so I saw a couple things this weekend that really freaking baked my freaking bagels. So I was set to go to BLFC this weekend. I had my flight booked, my hotel room, everything. Shoot, I had my hotel room for like almost 2 years because they kept canceling and pushing it on. Um, still make sure this is going good here. Anyways, so I decided to cancel. I just didn't want to go. With all the drama this year and just COVID and everything, I was just like, you know what? It's not worth going. I don't want to go. So me and G, my mate, we just decided to cancel, and we went and hung out in Dallas. So my point of this video is because I see a double standard in this fandom, and it's very dangerous. And I see allegations that are easily made towards people, and people run with it. So let's put BLFC into perspective, okay? BLFC decided to do a vaccine requirement and a mask requirement. They can do that. That's fine. Um, you either go or you don't want to go. So they decided to do that, obviously, because they've taken the stance that we are in a public health crisis and we have to protect the general safety and the well-being for people. Okay, that's their stance. They can do that. So y'all heard about the pizza incident, which my freaking mate showed me that, and we were at Costco eating pizza, ironically, and I was just like, what? And I zoomed in on the picture of it. I was like, ooh! And I almost did not finish my Costco pizza, and I love Costco pizza. But anyways, you see where I'm going with this. Make sure this is good. Anyways, so I saw that, followed the whole thing all weekend. And here's how the fandom, let me put this into perspective, y'all. The fandom, what's this message? The fandom used to be very different several years ago. I mean, look, the fandom certainly isn't innocent. I certainly have my own quirky kinks. Everybody does. But several years ago, like if there was going to be a private room party, it was kind of you had to know somebody to get in. You had to be invited. Somebody had to vouch for you. And it was kept on the down low. Like they told you, don't tell anybody about this or you're never coming back into this party. So it was kind of, you had to know somebody and keep things on the down low. Because people even then, even just a few years ago, it was, hey, we want to keep things positive. We don't want to give bad publicity or anything. So, this is kind of you got to know somebody. Today, guys, you put out a tweet and, say, hey, come to room such and such and blah, blah, blah is going on. So that fur did what he did in regards to this whole pizza incident. And you guys probably seen it and followed it. I'm not going to talk about it much, but, most of you guys probably know the story behind it. Well, I might as well say, if you guys aren't familiar with it, basically for him and 18 or 19 others decided to express their happiness on a pizza, if you know what I mean. Happy paw time. And left it out in the hallway. I don't know how long for. I don't know if it was for 5 minutes. I don't know if it was just sat there just so they could take a picture. Regardless, we do know that it happened, and we do know that it left the room. That fur tweeted it, publicized it, and everybody thought it was funny. Everybody thought it was some big joke. It would have been one thing if it happened and it stayed in the room and nobody ever heard about it, but besides the people that were there in the room. But the fact that it's publicized is alarming. And the fact that the majority of people thought this was funny, this guy gets thousands, hundreds, if not a few thousand more followers. And all the comments were positive about it. There was even a convention that made a meme about it, participating in the fun with this. So here's my double standard right here. The convention took and the convention's done nothing to this person as far as I know. Maybe they will, but I do know that the hotel banned this person for 6 months from their property. As far as I know, the convention did nothing. I don't think they intended to do anything because generally when somebody does something really stupid, they pull your registration immediately. I've been to over 60 cons, trust me. You do something really stupid and grotesque and put it out in the public eye, you're going to get banned like right on the spot. That didn't happen. Maybe that will happen, but doubt it, especially if they didn't find it as a need to pull it from the spot. So here's the double standard that I see. The convention made it clear that we have a public health crisis with COVID. We're requiring masks and vaccinations, but took no response to what this person did. And it's just treated as legendary. And it's a great thing. And people will argue that, well, it's not as comparable. You're not comparing apples, apples to you're not comparing what is it? They're like apples to apples, blah blah blah, apples to oranges. This is different. It's not transmittable through breathing. Yeah, it's not. But guys, I've had a lot of training in when it comes to bloodborne pathogens, and I can tell you, when you know that you're dealing with bloodborne pathogens, you have to take necessary precautions, masks, even gloves, whatnot. You don't even dispose of it in the regular trash. It goes in biohazard containers or bags, and it's disposed of a different way. And you always assume that any type of bodily fluid is contaminated with something, STD, HIV, AIDS, you name it. So you have to treat it as this. There was the probability that this could have spread. Somebody could have come in contact with this, whether it be some random person in the hallway that picked it up or a housekeeping member, staff. I mean, they don't know what they're dealing with. I've seen a lot of housekeeping members, will wear gloves as they're cleaning the rooms, but staff member just sees a regular box in the hallway and picks that up. I mean, what if they had an open cut they didn't know about, and some of that bodily fluid hit their cut, and that bodily fluid had an STD? You don't know. So I find it very ironic. I find this a double standard. The convention is saying we have a health crisis, and you had somebody do something that's not COVID related, but it's still, that doesn't, in the midst of a public health crisis and somebody does something like that, I don't get it. And there's no accountability for it. I mean, people like me and others were being ostracized and told that we're dangerous, sick individuals. We don't care about public health or safety because we don't want to get a vaccine. And then it's like, oh, hey, all you guys know, you're not welcome in here. You can't come. Oh, you guys over there that like to do that to a pizza, leave it there. And, you guys over there that have been publicly harassing and, molesting people and sexually assaulting people, you're welcome. Come on in. What is the fandom today? I don't get it. And it's just a double standard. It's pick and choose who they want to hold accountable, who we as a community want to hold accountable. I just don't get it anymore. I'm not even really mad at this fur that did that. I'm more concerned about the leadership of these conventions and the fandom as a whole. And it seems like grotesque, sick, disgusting acts that are made public are hailed as great things. And people like me or others who have a different viewpoint on something, or, whether regardless if you don't want to get the vaccine or regardless of the issue, they're cast out and labeled as dangerous, uncooperative, uncaring. So, that just really baked my bagels. This whole thing about public health crisis, we got to do this, we got to do that. And then you have somebody that does something like that, and you just turn a blind eye. You don't even care. So, and I'm going to read some of your comments here, just kind of brushed up. So you'll have to bear with me here a second. Uh-oh, it's Diesel. Yep, uh-oh, it's me. Sorry. Just trying to read some of your comments. But anyways, so that's just what I seen. That was the first thing at BLFC that I saw this weekend. And again, I'm not really upset at this fur that did what he did. It was stupid, but obviously he did it to boost his popularity, to boost his numbers on his Twitter or whatever. He got it, made a bunch of friends from it. But we as a fandom and convention leadership have done nothing and just treated it like it's no big deal. Meanwhile, we're forcing people that, hey, you can only come here if you do this, if you wear a mask, you get a vaccine, because we have a public health crisis and we got to control things. Meaning I saw at the same time, I've seen hundreds of pictures of room parties at the con. Nobody's wearing a mask. You're in a small room. I mean, I don't get it. And then this person does something like that with bodily fluid from who could have potentially exposed that to somebody else out in the hallway. I mean, and God forbid, look, I've been to a lot of conventions, guys. There are a lot of furs that show up that should not be there because they're financially broke, and they somehow make it there. And I've come across tons of furs that were practically begging for food, didn't have any money, were sleeping out on a bench or outside somebody's room because they didn't have a room, but they wanted to be there. They shouldn't have been there, but they wanted to be there just so they could have a little bit of a fun time and see some friends. How do you know somebody wouldn't have come by and eaten that? I mean, and it was a full pizza too. Somebody could have been like, oh, maybe they're just setting it out here to be nice and it was an extra. I mean, how do you know that some fur out of the a few thousand that were there wouldn't have been desperate enough to do that and didn't know anything about it or what was on it? I mean, you have to weigh that as a possibility. I've been to tons of cons, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of broke ass furs that show up at cons with not a lot. Um, you know, what if a hotel staff member was cleaning that up and it just fell out and it hit them on a cut or something they had? I mean, you have to weigh those possibilities, you know. And again, people will say, well, you know, hotel staff members, they clean this stuff up daily. Look, yeah, I'm sure they deal with stuff in rooms, but generally every time I've gone to a hotel and I've had the cleaning lady or whatever come in, they're generally wearing gloves. They're being very cautious when they're cleaning things, especially around the bed and whatnot. You know, cleaning through the bathroom, they're wearing gloves and spraying things down. They're taking precautions. And if they know that they're going to be dealing with something that's a bit of a mess, they take those precautions. Something like seeing a pizza box on the floor, your general mind is just, it's an empty box, or it's just with some leftover food. You don't expect that somebody's going to do something like that on it. So you don't know. You have to weigh that as a possibility. So this whole thing, we care about public health and yabba bada, you got to do this and that. Then we turn a blind eye to something like this. Guys, I just don't get it. You know, I really don't. You know, people will say, oh, yeah, but you've done some weird stuff in the past. Guys, look, I've done weird stuff. Some things I'm not proud of. But, sorry, cough. But I've been held accountable for those. Mostly I've been ostracized and just harassed out of my freaking mind. But this is praised. So, you know, I don't get it. There was a time, even 5 years ago, somebody did something like that, like conventions would immediately address it and the person would be gone. So anyways, that happened regarding that incident. And then another incident happened at BLFC. I don't know this person. I've tried to reach out and connect with them a little bit, but they posted a video maybe a day after they left early. You guys might have seen the video, but he talked that he was sexually assaulted. He's one of the older kind of type of furs, or the furs that, you know, come there and just want to suit, you know, maybe snug a little bit, but somebody violated that a little further and they didn't like it. And they really didn't feel comfortable or safe around this person that was rooming in their room. So they left. They talked about it and basically pointed out things that, you know, they don't understand what this fandom is really anymore. Kind of the same thing that I'm doing. They pointed out that the fandom stands on love and tolerance, and, you know, you need to be respectful and use somebody's pronouns, this and that. But as a whole, as a one-on-one interaction, we're really not that respectful to each other. I mean, it's basically somebody, you know, hugs somebody and then they view that as an invitation to just, you know, get in their freaking pants or freaking unzip their fursuit and zip and do things. So that was the whole point of their message. For a fandom that stands about love and tolerance and respect and everything, they preach it, but they don't live it. So that was his whole message. Guys, the person's being torn apart. False accusations being made against them, telling them that they were lying about the entire story. You know, somebody who is making the accusation that they were sexually assaulted, being ridiculed and made to be a joke. What is the fandom today? You know, these things, you know, even 5-6 years ago were taken seriously. Today, it's just not anymore. Sure doesn't seem like it. So, like I said, there's a complete double standard, y'all. I mean, you know, sick, grueling, grotesque things that people do and publicize, they're perfectly welcome. But, you know, people like me or others that, maybe don't want to take a vaccine or don't use proper pronouns with somebody, that's viewed as extremely life-threatening, um, and they must be cast out. I mean, I don't see the connection. I don't know what's more life-threatening: somebody that fails to use somebody's proper pronoun, or somebody that leaves a jizz-covered pizza out in a hallway. I don't know which one is more. Well, I know which one more is life-threatening, but apparently, I don't get it. I mean, yeah, guys, even 5 or 6 years ago, we could at least debate and have our disagreements. I mean, I haven't changed. I've been very, very firm on a lot of my stances and political leanings, even when I got into the fandom. Um, and it really wasn't looked down upon. People that the most would say, "Oh, that Diesel dude, Republican people," but he's all right. I mean, he's nice at least. That's the most people would say. I haven't changed. I made some mistakes in the past, of course, but I haven't changed really a lot of my stances on things. Now I've learned to kind of evolve on some things and see some things through a different lens. But for the most part, my core principles really haven't changed. And now it's just people are so just toxic. They're just so toxic to one another. I mean, we're tearing each other apart just because we don't agree. And you try to argue that point. I mean, we can't even agree to disagree anymore, because one side will say, look, obviously we're not going to agree on this. So, we can at least agree to disagree, and, let's just hang out. Let's have a drink. But others will say, no, there's no agreeing to disagreeing with, bigotry, racism, blah, 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 which, you know what? I kind of agree. There shouldn't be any reasoning with people like that, but you don't get to label somebody, bigoted or dangerous just because they don't want to take a vaccine. You don't get to label somebody racist because of maybe they don't support the BLM movement. Okay. Maybe they see some things going on within it and they just simply don't support it. You don't get to label somebody as racist because of that. And that's what I've seen in the fandom, is that they stand on we are loving and tolerant, but we are not going to tolerate intolerance. Well, what is intolerance? That's the big thing. What is intolerance? Lately, I see it's people that you don't agree with. And then they label you as, they see something that you bring up or that you say, and then they label it as racist, bigoted, transphobic, homophobic, this, that, and the other. And that is intolerable, and we're not going to tolerate that, intolerance. So that's the big thing that I see within the fandom. That's another huge divide, is not only is it a double standard today, but it's just demonizing people. I agree. I don't think we should tolerate somebody that's a flat out complete racist and absolutely despises people by the color of their skin. I don't think we should tolerate people that blatantly go after, single-handedly going after people and trying to attack them for, whatever the reason, whether it's trans, whatnot. I don't think we should tolerate that type of behavior. But oh, my kitty's meowing. But what is considered intolerable? I mean, because somebody says that, hey, somebody's trans, and somebody says, hey, losing my train of thought, and my little kitty's meowing. Poor kitty, kitty, meow. For instance, somebody that's trans, maybe hardcore trans. Okay, they can do that, but what, cat? But is trying to push the other person, their beliefs and ideology on them. For instance, somebody that's trans can be trans. Okay, that's cool. But then it comes down to the whole pronoun thing. And this cat, she's throwing my tray. What? Cat. Sorry, guys. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Meow, meow. Meow, meow. Where's the kitty cat? Kitty cat. Where you at? Sorry, guys. Cat's just throwing my freaking train of thought off. I don't even know where she's at. Okay. Anyways. Looking at your hush cat. But yeah, so sorry. So for instance, look, a lot of the big talk, I mean, I get accused of being transphobic. Guys, I don't hate trans people. I'm not afraid of trans people. They want to be who they want to be. That's fine. I don't care. The only thing that I care about is, don't force me to believe like you. I personally won't, and I don't think people should go out of their way to purposely go up to somebody that they know is trans or whatnot and start trouble with them. I don't think they need to go up to them and say, you're not a this, you're a that, blah, blah, blah. No. Why would you do that? You obviously don't agree with them, but you don't have to go do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to seek somebody out that's different than me or trans or even because I disagree and do that. No. I'm not going to do that. And that's what is accused of me. That's one thing that's accused of me is that I'm transphobic and I make them uncomfortable simply because I agree with just basic science and biology. I mean, okay, I'm not going after you or seeking to destroy you or anything like that, but we can still work together on this and be respectful to one another. We're not always going to agree on everything. I mean, again, for instance, transgender. You can be respectful to somebody that's transgender, even though you may not agree with it. For instance, a man to woman, transition. If they're respected, tag identifies as a woman. I mean, you don't even have to say any of that. You can still if they provide you, let's say, a service or something in the dealer's room or whatever, and that they're, let's say, male to female, you can just say, hey, thank you, have a nice day. You don't even have to say thank you, ma'am, or be a complete ass and say, oh, thank you, sir. I won't do that because I don't want confrontation. So we can still meet in the middle on these things. Like, look, hey, I don't agree with you on this, but I'm still going to be respectful towards you. And then that person can say, well, really disappointing that you don't agree with me on that. But, as long as you're going to be respectful to me and at least treat me like another individual, I mean, we can still find common ground on those things, again, people treat it as if, people like me are going to go out of our way to, purposely go after somebody or attack them because of their status or pronouns or whatnot. No, I just want to go have a good time. I've talked with several people that are, transgender within the community. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't bother me. I don't think, though, I need to be forced to that cat. Hey, kitty. I don't know why she's meowing. But anyways, hey, trying to get her. But anyways, my whole point is, guys, is that we can meet in the middle. We aren't going to agree about everything, but we can at least have some open dialogue, and we can try to find some common ground to be respectful. For instance, if again, when it comes to trans, if somebody says, I identify as this, and you don't agree with that, you don't have to participate in that. You can still be respectful and say, hey, instead of saying, how's your day going, ma'am or sir, or whatever, you don't even have to say that. You can just say, how's your day going? Or hey, thanks for everything that you did. Or if they say, oh, here's your such and such, have a great day. And you can say thank you. You don't even have to have the sir or the ma'am out, just so there's not going to be that confrontation. I mean, that's personally what I would do is if somebody that I know is trans and is at a table, whatever, selling something, and I purchase something from them and they say, I don't have a good day, I'll say, hey, thank you, you too. I mean, we can meet in the middle on these things, but to demonize one another over all of it, it's just, anyways, but that's part of my story is because I'm labeled as transphobic, which I'm not transphobic, guys, trust me. Like, we have somebody at work who is borderline trans, I guess you could say. He's still a he. Funniest guy ever. I love him to death. His name's Desmond. He's funnier than hell. And like he's wearing like all these costumes like for Halloween, like on every Monday. And he is a trip. I love him to death. And he loves the Golden Girls. Loves the Golden Girls. And so we find some things that we get along with. We don't talk politics or anything like that. And I don't care. But we just have a great time. And he's a freaking super great worker. And if he did decide to transition, or if that's what he wanted, obviously that would create some, conflict with my personal beliefs, but I could still make it work. I could still find a way to behave with each other, interact with each other, and be respectful towards them at the same time of not violating my own personal beliefs or convictions. So we can still find ways to make things work, but it's just not that way lately. It hasn't been that way for a few years. It's you will do this, you will do that, you will call me this. If not, you're this, you're that, you're gone, you're canceled, you're blocked, you're banned. That's the issue. One of the issues that I see within the community today is it's just become so toxic. It's a double standard, and again, it and I'm sorry to talk about the trans issue. I'm just using that as an example. I know people are going to watch this and, oh, he hasn't changed. He's discriminating on trans guys. I don't know how many times I have to bring this up. I'm not discriminatory towards transgender people. I might not agree, but I don't hate you. I don't dislike you. I love you all. I love everybody. I just want to get along. We might not agree or see things eye to eye on some things, but that doesn't mean I'm threatening towards you. That doesn't mean that I hate you. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go out of my way to purposely create a bad time for you. I don't want confrontation. I hate confrontation in real life. I'm not going to purposely go up to somebody that I know is different from me or maybe has a different political leaning than me and purposely go up and try to start trouble. Why would I do that? Because then I would be a dick and then I would be creating confrontation, and I don't want that. So I love everybody. I might not agree with some people. There are some people that, I really don't care for, but, then they probably really don't care for me. But, we can find a way to make this work, guys. We used to do it before in the fandom. Let's just do it again. It doesn't matter, gay, straight, trans, liberal, conservative, left, right. We can find a way to make these things work. We're not always going to agree on everything. You can't expect somebody to bend to your will, but you can still manage to try to find some common ground. You can still manage to agree to disagree and find the common ground. And what is the common ground? Furry. That's the common ground that we have. Put aside the differences. All right. Don't use well, you believe something that wants to outcast me and this and that. No, we are all sharing in the same thing. Furry. This is our space for everybody. This is our safe space where we can express ourselves as our characters. Furry, that's what it was all about. That's what it needs to be. Sadly, that's not what it is right now. And I miss it. But that's just kind of my spiel for the night, y'all. So some things on my heart I just kind of wanted to put out there. It's just it's so different today. It really is. I miss the old fandom where we could just get along. But so let's find that common ground again, which is the fandom. And I wish I ever wasn't so political before, but guys, I'm in too deep now, and I stand so firm on just my principles and what I believe. I can't. I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to be ashamed of that. But again, I know that I can make it work with people. I might not agree on everything, but I know that I can make it work. Give me the chance, but give ourselves a chance. We can make this work. We don't have to agree on everything. We won't. You're not going to, y'all. It's just not the way the world works. What fun. How would this world be if we agreed on everything? Pretty freaking boring. But that's how we grow as people. That's how we learn to develop. That's how we learn to kind of figure out differences. Maybe we can figure some differences out and come to reasoning, and maybe we can't. And we just have to say, look, we're not going to get anywhere on this. Let's agree to disagree. Hey, do you want to hit at the dance? Hey, you want to go have a bite? We can do that. We used to before. Again, what's the common interest that we all share? Furry. We all share that common interest. Anyways, so I'm just going to brush up on some of y'all comments, and I'm probably going to end this thing, but yeah, lots to read. Yeah, there's a lot to read, y'all. Yeah. Well, anyways, that's just what was on my mind and heart tonight. So I just kind of wanted to share that with y'all. But yeah, it's just a divide, guys. Fandom's not the same. And people will say, well, we're trying to push out people like you to make our fandom better. Really? Is it really that better? I could leave tomorrow. It's still going to be the same way it always is. It's still going to be people going after everybody. And guys, you can go after people and you can think that you got rid of all the problems, but eventually you're going to find problems within your own group, and then you're going to start going after them. It always does that way. You'll get rid of what you view as the problems, and it always turns on itself. Then you'll start turning on each other. So the people that you were with, the crowd that you were with, they'll turn against you. They'll find something. But let's get furry back to furry. Again, we're not going to agree on everything, guys. It's just not the way the world works. We're not going to agree on everything politically. We're not going to agree on everything from a religious standpoint. We're not going to agree on everything when it comes to debates about, racism, transgender. It really there are so many. Now, again, if somebody is a flat out, I dislike these people because of, the color of their skin, or I dislike these people because they're just flat out this. Guys, I could understand that. I'd be like, whoa, that's a little much. Okay. I was like, you know what, dude, that's not a good thing. I don't know if I really want to be associated with that. But, again, just because somebody says that, hey, I really don't see eye to eye with you on that, and here's why I disagree, you don't just automatically label that person as a bigot or racist or transphobic or whatnot, just because you disagree, or just because they bring a different set of statistics or facts to the table. If we can't agree on it, find the common ground. Furry. That's what we're here for. Anyways, spread the word, guys, gals, people, whatever. Spread the word. Let's get furry back to furry, because I miss it. I mean, look, at the end of the day, my life will go on. Even if I left this fandom tomorrow, which I know there's plenty of people that want me to leave, guys, even if I left, I wouldn't be heartbroken. I've got plenty of friends and family that care. And there's a lot of other things that I can go do in life. I enjoy the fandom. I love being able to interact with y'all, but I grew up most of my life without it. Not half my life without it. I can do it again. I want to stay because I enjoy people. I enjoy interaction and meeting people. Guys, I'm not the best. I've made mistakes. We're always going to make mistakes. Yeah, try to learn from our mistakes, of course. But, you know, again, we can't demonize each other just because we disagree on things. I get if somebody, like I said, is like a blatant, flat out, you know, flat out complete racist saying that they hate people because of the color of their skin, or they just outright hate, somebody that's, this or trans or that. I can understand that. I personally wouldn't want to be associated with them. But just because somebody has a different viewpoint about something or might offer some different statistics or numbers or say, well, I really don't agree with that, and here's why. Um, you have to listen to it. And if you don't agree with it, you say, well, you know what? I really don't agree with you on that. And here's why. But let's just agree to disagree on it. And let's engage in the one thing that we do enjoy. We can still make things work without having to offend one another or, without violating pronouns or proper terms. We can still make things work. I've figured out ways to do it. But anyways, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed. I've got to attend to my very noisy meowing cat. Her name's Waffles. And yeah, so I'm going to end the stream now. So I'm sure I'll get plenty of hate for this, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Let's get furry back to furry. So anyways, I'm going to end this all. Hope you all had a good time watching this. And yeah, toodles.